has been uncovered. New research shows that Fragile X syndrome is the most common genetic form of autism. It occurs because of a mechanism that shuts off the gene associated with this syndrome. It's providing hope that therapy is possible for nearly 24 disabilities. For more on what exactly Fragile X syndrome is and this promising new research, we're joined this morning by Holly Roos. Holly is a mom of 2 children with Fragile X and a community support network program coordinator for the National Fragile X Foundation. Good morning, Holly. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Today.
Thanks for having us.
Also, Nick and Nancy Hertzig. Nick himself is with us. He is a self-advocate today, talking all about this syndrome, and his mom is also an active member of Fragile X Foundation and also has another son with the syndrome as well. First of all, welcome to Washington. Welcome to Washington. I'm sorry it's so cold. I know it's very cold. Tell us about, first of all, exactly what Fragile X is. And let me also say, in full disclosure, I'm learning this as well. This is in my family. And when my cousin had her second son, she called me and she said, just want you to know about this. And I hadn't heard about it. And, so for me, it's an education as well and very personal. Tell us exactly what the syndrome is.
Yeah, and a lot of us have that until our children are diagnosed. We've never heard of it. So a lot of what we do is working to raise that awareness. But as you said, Fragile X is the leading cause form of inherited intellectual disability and the leading known genetic cause of autism. And so it affects nearly 1 million women in the United States are carriers like Nancy and myself, and as many as 320,000 men are carriers of the gene as well. And it's genetic, so it passes on the X chromosome, so both men and women can be affected by the disorder.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that we were constantly searching for what the causes of autism are, and could it be this and could it be that? But here we know for sure this is something that is genetic.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually went to many doctors before we got a diagnosis. When Nick was almost 10 years old. And we had many correct diagnoses, but they were only partially correct. We had diagnoses of PDD, which is pervasive development disorder, which is on the autistic spectrum. We had diagnoses of ADD, we had of anxiety, of learning disability, and all of them were correct, but they were all just part of the big picture of Fragile X.
Right. And so the organization looks to, would presume, let people know exactly what this is, and then also you're here in town to go to Capitol Hill to raise awareness because we need to find research into finding ultimately a cure.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Let me ask you, Nick, you're here speaking for yourself. You sit here with your Mexican suit on as a young man that happens to have Fragile X syndrome. What's your message to lawmakers?
That if I need them to pass this teen night bill because I want to go to college. And it's been very hard for me, so I want to be able to go to college so that they can pass this teen act so I can get other people with Fragile X to go to college.
Right. Do you find yourself sort of talking to your friends and saying, well, this is what it is, and then do they understand? Okay. And how do people, when you tell them about it, do they understand, or do they just say, okay, whatever, Nick, can we just go out and play now, or can we just, do whatever we do?
It makes them feel good about it.
Yeah, because they understand a little bit more. And ultimately, moms, isn't that what we're all looking for, regardless of wherever your child happens to fall on the spectrum or not, just a little understanding about what you're going through?
Absolutely. Understanding acceptance, and with the understanding comes the acceptance. And it's a big part of the awareness.
Now, I know you've been doing this. This is, what, the 11th year?
11th
that
year.
You've been coming up on the Hill. What is the response that you get as a group when you go up and talk to your lawmakers?
I see an overwhelmingly positive response. We have almost 200 advocates here from all over the United States, and to have the families come, especially with the self-advocates like Nick, who come and tell their story and the importance of, the programs and the funding for the research. We've